One afternoon, I walked home from Sacred Heart School to my Uncle Frank's where I was staying because my mother was so sick. And I believe my brother did stay at home. And she walked into the living room and she said, "Mary, your mother just died. We need to go upstairs and say the rosary." So we went upstairs to her bedroom and we knelt by the bed, and I got out my rosaries and she got out her rosaries, and we knelt there and said the rosary. And that was it. No other word. No other word about my mother's death. She didn't embrace me. I didn't cry. I didn't know what to do. I was so stunned. So I think 8 years old. I'm only 8 years old. Well, in those days, they didn't go to funeral parlors. The mortician would come and do the embalming and so forth, and the casket that people were laid out, they called it laid out, in their living room. So I was taken to my home, which was also in Bloomfield, and I walked in. I can't remember who took me, whether it was my Uncle Frank. Somebody obviously took me because I was driven. And I walked into the living room, and I only can remember there were women sitting around. And I walked in, and I wasn't quite in the middle of the living room, but I was standing there. I didn't know what to do. And I looked over, and I saw the casket. And somebody said, "You need to go over there and see your mother." So I walked over, and there was a kneeling, I guess you would call it a little kneeling bench or whatever. And I knelt down, and I couldn't look at her face. I could not look at her face. The only thing I could look at were her hands. And wrapped around, she had on an orchid dress. I remember the orchid dress. And the prayer beads were a deep, deep purple. They were beautiful. And that's all I could look at were her hands. And then I knelt there, and I honestly can't remember whether I prayed. I was just so stunned. And I didn't know how long I should stay there. Should I stay there for a long period of time? Or should I stay there kneeling in front of my dead mother a short time? From what I can recall, I didn't stay a very long time. And then I got up and I walked over, and somebody said, "You can go out now. You can go out and play if you want." And I went out, and I can remember my neighbor, Jean Atno, she came over, and I don't know whether we played hopscotch or what we did, but that's all I can remember of that day. I did not go to the funeral. The only thing I can remember, when I came home and got into my own bed, I can remember lying down and saying, "I'm never going to die." I remember saying, "I'm never going to die."